2 episodes in a row with video game adaptations, but will today's video game adaptation be any better than yesterday's? Well, I do know since I've already watched both of them, and I'll let you know in this video as well as 3 other shows which have aired in the last few days or so. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you think of today's episodes and of all the episodes you've seen so far this season. Join me because this is a 2023 winter anime preview from a different perspective. First up today, we have The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, an anime about a normal guy who lives next door to the school's angel. They're calling her the angel, she's more of an idol of the school, to be honest. Mihiru, a normal guy who lives next door to the school's angel, Sheena. Now, Sheena does not want to be seen as an angel. She's a normal, cute girl who cares for people. And our main guy, Amane, also has the same caring streak as well. On the way home from school one day, it's tipping it down with rain, he just walks past Sheena in a park and it looks like she's crying. And of course it's tipping it down, so being a gentleman, he offers her his umbrella. She begrudgingly takes it and he runs home without an umbrella. I mean, they live next door to each other and obviously know they live next door to each other. So why didn't she share an umbrella going home? Who knows? But I imagine Sheena probably wouldn't have done that because sharing an umbrella with just a random kid from school, even though he might live next door to you, it seems a bit forward. And the entire episode is about Amane learning that Sheena is a bit pushy when it comes to being caring. I mean, the title of the anime is that the angel next door spoils me rotten, and that's basically what happens in the first episode. He gets ill because of running home in the rain. She kind of feels a bit guilty for that because she nicked his umbrella. Again, he offered it to her. It's his own fault that he got a cold. But she, being the girl she is, feels a bit responsible and decides, okay, I'm going to help nurse him back to health. When she does so, she sees the state of his apartment. It's trash everywhere. Clothes food everywhere. He doesn't eat proper meals. He doesn't look after himself. She does not want to keep any attention about one going, so not only does she help nurse him back to health, she also eventually helps clean his apartment. She gives him meals because she cooks for 2 people rather than just herself. She basically presents him with domestic bliss. All the positive things of having a cute girlfriend caring for you without the officialness of being boyfriend and girlfriend. Although that is definitely coming later on in the show, I'm almost certain about that. Now, Sheena is very much domestic goddess. She's sweet, she's very innocent, her heart's in the right place, but she doesn't want to be seen as being a girlfriend. She doesn't want that commitment for him. And it's clear that he doesn't feel himself good enough to be her boyfriend. And this anime is going to be more about those two getting to know each other, learning to trust each other, and ultimately becoming boyfriend and girlfriend, I'm certain. And that's pretty much the entire episode. There's not really much more to tell than that. Amane is just a normal guy. There's nothing really special about it. There's no over-top reactions. There's no screaming or, oh my god, I'm living next door to the most beautiful... There's none of that bull crap which you get in some anime. And it's just very well presented, which is going to be about 2 characters getting to know each other and becoming a thing. I'm definitely going to be going back to this more for this one. This is the type of anime which I'll just lap up. Whether or not I stick with it long term, it's always the type of show which I will generally fall behind on throughout the series. I'll try and keep it with it because this one does appeal to me a lot. If you do want to watch this one, you can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. Next up today we have another male idol anime. Although I'm going to give this one credit, it is different. Welcome to World of UniteUp, an anime about a guy who becomes a male idol. But this is very different because from the start of it, he doesn't really want to be an idol. He doesn't really want to know what he wants to do with his life at all. Apparently he used to play baseball and fell out of it for some reason. But when he goes karaokeing with his friend secretly records his voice and uploads videos onto YouTube with edits he's done to a video. He's paid people to make pictures for him. Basically, he secretly uploads his friends singing to YouTube and profits from that. Yeah, that doesn't sound that pleasant to me, but very okay. But I mean, he's okay about it, especially when he finds out why he's done it. Because Akira's friend does it out of want to help Akira to be the best he can be. There's no maliciousness in it. and it helps Akira decide what he wants to do with his life. Now, not much actually happens in the first episode, other than Akira learning when his friend's been doing this, but he gets an invite to join an idol management agency, and by the end of it he does decide he wants to go along with it. We don't see much about that. The male idols are, as you'd expect, as normal they would be, attractive young men who are blatantly going to be in 3D CG music videos all over the place. This is definitely not an anime meant for me, but there was something about it. It felt more like a shonen style show where it's building up to being the best idol you can be, competing and becoming and entering into the industry, more so than just pretty boys doing pretty boy things for pretty girls. Now again, I've no doubt that's what it's going to become, and I'm probably not going to be watching more of this one, but if you want an interesting different look at the male idol anime industry, this one may be an interesting take for you. It doesn't start out the usual way, and that has me intrigued. If you do want to watch UniteUp, this one's airing over at Crunchyroll. Next up, we've got an anime which was highly anticipated by me. Highly anticipated because it's a game adaptation, similar to Legend of Heroes from last one, but unlike Legend of Heroes, it's a game I've not played. It's a game I've wanted to play quite a lot, and I've actually put off playing it because I knew the anime was coming up, because this is NieR Automata version 1.1a, and that is a very NieR title for the anime. I'm amazed it doesn't have semicolons and apostrophes and brackets in there anywhere, because that is, actually technically it does, it's NieR, Automata. That's more the name of the anime, not in the version 1.1a bit I was expecting it to be. But NieR Automata is the game which brought NieR to most people's acknowledgement. But what made NieR Automata stand out to people was the main character, rather than being a normal guy, is 2B. A blindfold-wearing, white-haired, sexy android with thigh-high kinky boots and a black mini dress. Yeah, definitely appealing to one particular subtype of gamers there. But watching the first episode, 2B is very much a badass heroine. She fights androids with her katana and her mech. She fights a giant, big-ass robot. And at the end of the episode, spoiler alert, she does sacrifice herself and her ally 9S to defeat a bunch of big robots. Thankfully, her save data, let's call it, is backed up into a cloud, well, into a satellite, and her consciousness survives. 9S doesn't, sadly, and that's where we go from there. Now, I'll be honest, I know bits and pieces about the 2B and the NieR lore, because I've watched a few people playing some of the NieR games, and Final Fantasy XIV, because as well as having a free trial up to a world-winning Heaven's Ward expansion, it also has a raid in the Shadowbringers expansion based on the NieR series. Now, it's not the NieR storyline, it's a sort of hybridization, collaboration storyline, combines the monsters and the fights of NieR with the fights of Final Fantasy, and gives it an interesting Final Fantasy twist to it. But a lot of what I've seen in the first episode reminds me a lot of that, because the entire atmosphere, landscape, and some of the people she fights are the things which you fight in the raids. I'm going to be interested in learning more about the storyline, about 2B, just who is she, what is she, and what the entire plot of the anime is going to be. With a lot of video game adaptations, you worry that the game is going to be superior. I mean, video game adaptation is always going to be a bit shallow. A bit of a nod to the players more so than a story which is standalone. But I can honestly say, having watched the first episode, this is not one of those occasions. The anime is perfectly good standing alone, on its own, without having required any knowledge whatsoever about the game. It's adapting a game as though it was a light novel rather than adapting a game as a game. And I think that's where this anime adaptation really shines. That and the opening credits is absolutely insanely brilliant. I've not seen opening credits like that in ages, which really grab your attention. Even if you don't watch the anime, watch the anime opening. It is beautiful in its production. Anyway, if you do want to watch NieR Automata version 1.1a, it's airing over at Crunchyroll. Finally today, we have the reincarnation of the strongest exorcist in another world, an isekai anime where our main protagonist is actually a former exorcist in historic Japan, He's reincarnated into your generic, stereotypical reincarnated world, where he doesn't have any magic powers, but he uses his Exorcist powers to become super powerful and save the world. Well, that's what you expect anyway. The first episode is pretty much every anime of this type in its existence. We learn about him being reincarnated in another world, we learn that he's got no real powers, and we learn that he's got some elder brothers who like to bully him because he's got no powers. We also learn that despite him having no magic power, he does still retain his Exorcist powers and can become super powerful through interesting foreign magics. And that's where it really leads off. We get a few cute characters which is going to be introduced to. The maid in particular has got special powers of her own and is also down in the dumps slave character. We do have that horrible scene where his big brother says to his slave girl, "Look, you've been a bad girl. You as punishment, you got to come to my room tonight, you know." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We don't really need to see that, and thankfully it doesn't happen. But yeah, that in itself tells me where this anime is going. It's going to be every anime of this type, including the bad bits. I've said it too much before. I mean, main character's surname is Lamperouge. The writer of this is clearly a Code Geass fan, has taken a lot of his writing cues from Geass. Even down to his main character's personality. It is very Lelouch about it. It's very analytical, very strategical, very untrustworthy, honestly. If you are interested in watching the reincarnation of the strongest Exorcist in the world, you can find this airing over at Crunchyroll. That was The Angel Next Door Spores Me Rotten, UniteUp, NieR Automata version 1.1a, and Reincarnation of the Strongest Exorcist in Another World. 4 shows I've watched, and I've let you know what I think of them. Now, have you let me know what you think of them? Don't blank me and leave me your answers in the comments, and join me next time for more. Until then, bye bye.